Does your e-commerce brand really need a pop-up or not? Is it really that important? You have one side of e-commerce which seems to think that pop-ups are the absolute backbone of your DTC retention, and then you have another side which seems to think that pop-ups are actually quite counterintuitive. They claim that pop-ups may lead to lower site conversions and also turn off high-intent buyers, etc, etc. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about all things pop-up today. My name is Sean. I run Chromex Marketing. We're an email marketing firm. We work with and help scale DTC e-commerce brands with high-converting email and SMS marketing. We've generated over $14 million in email marketing revenue, and we handle everything from strategy, copy, design, implementation, reporting, a complete full stack A to Z. All right, let's get into it. So, pop-ups. Now, when it comes to the game of leverage in e-commerce, pop-ups hold an immense amount of leverage. You could put in a tiny little bit of input and get a ginormous amount of output. For those who claim that pop-ups hurt site conversions, we've done many holdout tests with pop-ups where A, in an A/B test, would be with a pop-up, B is without, and every single time the variant with the pop-up ended up having much higher site conversions, email conversions, overall just a lot more revenue for the brand. And why does that happen? The reason it happens is when you have a pop-up, you're giving people an extra push. Sure, there may be a very small, exceptional, anomalous few that do indeed leave. They might be high-intent buyers who end up leaving your site because of the pop-up. But when you prioritize that small anomalous group, you're neglecting a ginormous chunk of people who would not convert and end up converting because of your pop-up incentive. Anywho, let's get further into this video. Pop-ups are the highest leverage tool in your e-commerce operation. If you're serious about scaling, a pop-up isn't just something nice to have, it is an absolute must. And increasing your pop-up conversion rate should be one of your highest priority activities, because once again, it holds the highest leverage in your business. We're going to break down a site without a pop-up. 100% of your website visitors arrive to your site. That's your traffic. They arrive per month. Your traffic, let's say 10,000 people just arrived on your website. 97% end up abandoning your site, and we're considering a 3% conversion rate, right? Which is still incredibly high. Most brands don't see that. And that's it. You're running ads, you're running whatever to get traffic. They come in, most leave, some buy. Now, here's how your brand and your website looks with a pop-up. People come to your site, once again, 100% of website visitors entering, 97% leave, right? And 3% convert, same as before. But what's the difference here? The difference is that 10% of this 97% who would have otherwise left, they join your email backend using the pop-up. And then they leave. For leaving, they give you their contact info and they've just become a lead. And over the next however long, you keep retargeting them, place them in your welcome sequence, you send campaigns to them, you build a bond with them, etc, etc, until a ginormous chunk of this 97% would have otherwise left without a pop-up, they end up becoming customers. And the reason when we show results of doubling, sometimes tripling revenue for brands within months of working with us, this top funnel operation is the reason why. We get their lead capture and their lead conversion of that top funnel so much better than it used to be, to the point where this 3% could easily, you can literally see from this chart, become 6, 7, 8%. Just with tweaks in the pop-up and top funnel welcome flow campaigns, etc. Now, you also need to understand that you have to keep optimizing your pop-up conversion rates. Pop-ups are not a set it and forget, although almost every single brand that I audit does seem to think that. They're not set it and forget evergreen. You have to A/B test, you have to optimize over time. Let's break down the math, financial impact of pop-up conversion rates in this little table that I've made. A tiny little boost can lead to so much more revenue. Let's say we'll consider A pop-up converting at 5%, correct? And then B is a pop-up converting at 10%. A little tweak, small A/B test could even bring your pop-up from 5 to 10%, but we're going to keep every other variable a constant. So traffic is 1,000 for both. People entering email backend would be different, since this one's converting at 5%. 5% of 1,000 is 50. 10% of 1,000 is 100. So we're doubling the amount of people entering the backend. Hopefully you see where this is going by now. Average order value AOV, same across both, 25. Welcome flow conversion rate, that's really important, but we'll consider it to be the same. When we come in, brands usually see a nice big lift in their welcome flow CVR as well, but we're just going to say that this is constant for now. And then you get into the welcome flow revenue. Because you have the literally double amount of people entering your email backend, entering your welcome flow, even if you left the conversion rate as is and you didn't improve it whatsoever of the welcome flow, you're still getting double the amount of sales. Here you have $375 in welcome flow sales, and with just taking it from 5 to 10%, you have $750. These may seem like minuscule numbers, but when it goes in the thousands for brands who are looking to scale, brands doing above 50, 100 grand a month, right? This could easily go from 375, 100,000 to 750,000, literally from just making small A/B test tweaks and optimizations on your pop-up. So yeah, that's how you double your revenue without touching traffic, without touching anything else, just with a little pop-up. And hopefully this table shows you the importance of a pop-up, and you can't just ignore it because you don't want to hurt site conversions, which once again is a fallacy. It's not true. Lastly, we're going to break down a few pop-ups and give you guys a few strategies for running high converting pop-ups. All credits for the pop-ups displayed here go to our partner Alia and the respective brands. Anyways, this is quite a high converting pop-up, and pop-ups like these are exactly the type of pop-ups that we use for our clients, and we regularly see our clients getting more than 25-30% of pop-up conversions, which is absolutely insane compared to the industry average. You can see this pop-up is something called a micro commit. There's a few things to break down, but a micro commit is when you don't just show up asking, what's your email? Let's say you go on a date with somebody, and the first thing they ask you is, what are your marriage plans? It's the first date, and you're talking to somebody, and they're asking about marriage plans. You would be like, okay, this is a little bit weird. So when you jump in, hey, give us your email, give us your phone number, give us your name, all in the first step, it turns people a bit off, and the conversion rates and having micro commit is just much, much higher than not having one. This asks the person, what do you use olive oil for? You're in the market for olive oil and you're getting asked, what do you use it for? People love answering questions about themselves. That's one. But not only that, more importantly, when someone clicks that button of frying and baking, the next step brings them to what's your email. Because they've already made that first little micro commit of clicking here, they're much more likely to convert and give you their email. Micro commitment bias is something that's known in marketing for a while. I won't break it down any further. This one's from Kopari. Cool little scratch here. You can see really interactive. When people think of pop-ups, they really think of that flashy little annoying thing that pops up in your face. You're trying to exit out, doesn't X out. It's really annoying and frustrating, but these are interactive. Scratch here to reveal it. Of course, you're going to have it set prior, but they're going to scratch. People love interacting with stuff these days. A/B test a bunch of these, etc., etc. I'd even recommend adding a timer right here, a little urgency timer. Those work great as well. But yeah, interactive, great. This one's a bit more simple. It's from Pact, but it's more along the lines of what you think of when you think of a standard pop-up, but still great in its own way. 15% off your first order. A lot of people add a lot of text to their pop-ups. You can join our email list for blah, blah, blah tips and exclusive discounts. People already know that when they join an email list, they get exclusive discounts. Just a straight up bold, brevity included copy like this, 15% off your first order, works much, much better than making things a lot more complicated. Great pop-up here. Really simple, but yeah, like the urgency timer I mentioned earlier, they have that right here. And yeah, it's beautiful. And last but not least, we have hostage tape. Want free tape to claim? Let us know. Who are you shopping for today? A question that brands have when they're setting up zero-party data pop-ups like this, which asks the question. Once again, that micro commit like I spoke about earlier, but a lot of brands are like, hey, so our product, we don't really have, for example, the olive oil. That brand asked, what are you using your olive oil for? For brands like this, they're like, oh, we don't really know what to say in our questionnaire. You can literally say this. To claim, let us know who you're shopping for today. Myself, someone else. For hostage tape, me personally, I would have went for a much more health-related angle because I know it helps with wellness, helping people not breathe from their mouths when they're sleeping. Maybe I could have asked, are you struggling with XYZ, XYZ? But this also works. To claim, let us know who you're shopping for today. Once again, micro commit, zero-party data, making people answer questions about themselves. Try this, test these pop-ups against whatever you're running right now, especially if your pop-up conversion rates are below 5%, and I guarantee it'll increase your pop-up CVR. If it doesn't, your Uber Eats, your next Uber Eats is definitely on me. That's about it for pop-ups, but yeah, hopefully you guys get the point. Pop-ups are extremely important. They are absolutely, like people say, the backbone of not only your retention marketing, but a really, really, really big part and aspect of your overall DTC e-commerce game. I've been Sean. That's about it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.